What have you got for us today?
Welcome to WatchMojo UK, and today we're looking at the funniest and most distracting accidental or improvised innuendos on British TV.
Once it's in, I love it.
Nice, is he? Hey!
Number 20, Lee Mack's wife, the Great British Bake Off.
Can I just ask, are you trying to invite me around for breakfast? Are you coming on to me, Prue? Is this where this is leading?
Yes.
There's twice you mentioned breakfast now, isn't it?
One of our most popular comedians was never short of a joke on Bake Off. He started off well by flirting with Prue Leith and her repeated suggestions that they should have breakfast together. But later, after he presents his dartboard-themed showstopper, it was Lee Mack's wife in the proverbial firing line.
I think your wife's sponge is delicious.
Ah.
I think...
Not many men would say that to you straight.
You've got the headlines tomorrow.
After dropping her in it over her lack of passion for darts, he plays for sympathy points by saying it's not his recipe, it's always been hers, prompting some flirting by proxy from Paul Hollywood. In typical Bake Off fashion, the remarks about moist sponges come thick and fast, while Lee jokes about being cuckolded.
I had the house to myself because my wife was out with Paul, and I just really focused on the job in hand, as did Paul, and I just...
Number 19, Bad Dong, the big fat quiz of the year.
And what did you put, Greg, Richard? What did you write, sorry?
We put bad dong.
It's not too much of an innuendo, in fairness, but it was certainly lewd and left Greg Davies unable to keep his composure. Even Richard Ayoade, always deadpan, struggled to keep it together next to Davies, who had tears in his eyes.
I haven't used the word dong since I was 13. I'm so delighted to use it again on national television.
But perhaps the best question Bad Dong was an answer to was about the 2015 physique of the year, rocked by various A-listers. The answer was, of course, Dad Bod, which is very nearly an anagram, except for the missing G.
By any chance, Richard and Greg, have you written Bad Dong?
I just said to Richard in the last break, I just said, I actually think I've gone through it now and I don't find bad dong funny anymore.
The audience could be heard losing it off camera every time a Davies and Ayoade answer appeared on the whiteboard.
There's a grown man with a mortgage there. Bad Dong.
Number 18, Elvis, Kunk on Earth. Miraculously, Diane Morgan never breaks as Philomena Kunk, but it's almost as rare for her interviewees to slip too.
Elvis benefited from mass media, which broadcast him to an audience of millions, in sanitised form. Why was it so dangerous to show Elvis from the waist down?
They can't always manage it when faced with a comedian intent on publicly embarrassing them though, which Dr. Ruth Adams found out the hard way when she was enlisted, yet again, as an expert. This episode was about the 20th century, so of course Kunk wanted to get to the bottom of rock music and Elvis Presley.
People were prudish back then, weren't they? If they saw his penis, they'd probably have a stroke, wouldn't they?
Probably. I don't think that would have made it onto the media. Oh, God.
That's not a joke. What's funny about that?
She asks Adams why Elvis was always filmed from the waist up for television, but then teaches her a firm lesson when Ruth and some others off camera start laughing.
If they saw his penis, they'd have a stroke. That's no laughing matter. We're talking about people's lives here.
You'd never catch Professor Ashley Jackson laughing at Kunk. Number 17, Pigs, Clarkson's Farm.
Look on the bums and you can see the little clitoris.
You can't. They don't have clitoris.
I promise you, they do.
With Caleb away for part of this series, young farmer Harriet was brought in to help look after the pigs and just generally keep Diddley Squat up and running. But that included, in this memorable scene, teaching Clarkson basic pig biology. That's not an innuendo on its own, but unluckily for Clarkson, Lisa is on hand to make passive-aggressive comments about his ability in the bedroom.
The little flicky bit?
Yeah.
That's the clitoris, and he says you can't see it. They all have them. Look at this one.
Yeah, he can't find it either, I can tell you.
Before this, he wasn't able to tell his male pigs from his female pigs, which is crucial information when you're trying to breed them. Harriet was in tears, and even Clarkson knows when to laugh at himself.
Do you not know what a clitoris looks like?
I know, but
Have you never found one?
no, I know. I know human
You've never
girls
seen
have
one.
them.
Number 16, Chinese takeaway this morning. Still ITV's golden couple when this was broadcast. Eamon and Ruth were meant to be getting viewers excited for an item about cooking your own Friday night Chinese takeaway at home.
Right, well, do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to bring you for a Chinese takeaway.
Oh, good.
However, things quickly got very blue when Eamon said he was going to take Ruth in the kitchen. Used to non-stop risque comments from her years fronting loose women, Ruth was quick to jump on this and point out what he just said.
I'm going to take you right behind there.
Right now, okay. It's my lucky day.
The years have gone by, though, and Eamon's no longer taking Ruth anywhere, let alone behind the kitchen counters live on This Morning.
I mean, in the kitchen. In the kitchen, right behind.
On Friday, that's what we call it, folks.
So, we've got...
Number 15, a hard one. Countdown.
Areola?
Yeah.
Very good.
Very good.
I'm getting teased so much by upstairs, I'm going to have to stop for a second until I...
There are a lot of accidental innuendos when a rude word pops up on the countdown board, either because that's the way the cards have landed, or because one of the contestants suggests one.
Now then, Susie, it is your time. Every day you have a special spot.
But there are also moments when Nick Hewer gets involved and produces some filth all on his own. In one memorable moment, after a contestant suggested the word areola, he started making comments about Susie Dent's special spot over in Dictionary Corner.
Do you want me to do it again? So, Susie, it's time for your special spot.
But more memorable was a quip about Rachel Riley and how desperate she was for a maths question that was actually difficult so that she could show off her skills.
Poor old Rachel, she's gagging for a hard one. All she gets is...
Number 14, Fanny Schmeller, The Chase. Can Bradley Walsh ever keep a straight face? Not if his track record on The Chase is anything to go by, that's for sure.
In what sport does Fanny Schmeller compete for Germany?
By far his most infamous moment was this question about Olympic skier Fanny Schmeller. It wasn't just Brad losing it though. Up in the chair, Anne Hegarty was also struggling to contain herself, and it's not often you see the governess break. In another classic clip, a seemingly innocuous question about mortadella is asked, prompting a string of double entendres from the contestant.
Do you like sausage? I'm partial to a bit of sausage on occasion. But it's a complete guess. Yeah, guess.
Again, it's Walsh and Hegarty, both just trying to get through the workday.
She knows the sausages. She does indeed.
Number 13, Horns of Plenty, The Great British Bake Off.
Once you've actually made the dough, they've got to divide it up and then they've got to shape it. So, Prue, do you want to try some of my horn?
The bakers were at a loss over Paul's Horn of Plenty in this episode, with none of them knowing what the cornucopia they were baking was even supposed to look like. But if you thought the classic cream horns they often make were ripe for innuendo, think again. These big golden horns were quite a sight once the bakes were done.
Please bring your Horns of Plenty down to the front and place them behind your photographs.
Big wonky towers were presented to Prue and Paul for their approval, which isn't the way they're really supposed to be presented, and Paul couldn't keep it together. But what did he expect without providing at least a diagram of the finished horn?
Stop it, Paul.
Number 12, Full-Bodied, The Weakest Link.
Ollie, have you got one of those great big things?
Yeah, definitely, absolutely. Italian food
You
to the
like
heart.
pepper, do you?
This scene went wildly out of control when celebrity wine expert Ollie Smith appeared on The Weakest Link. There's something about going to public school that, as Anne Robinson herself points out, makes a man desperate for a stern, older woman to tell him what to do.
You're terrifying. In a sexy way.
Are you the Jamie Oliver of wine?
Oh, it's very flattering. Who knows? Who knows?
Like many contestants on The Weakest Link, and indeed many regular contributors to Point of View back in the day, Ollie's got a real thing for Robinson and struggles to keep it together when she asks him about pepper grinders and full-bodied wines.
I don't like being called full-bodied.
No?
No. I've spent a long time getting this figure.
Full-bodied, but in spirit, in the embracing of the...
Are you saying I've got huge
boobs?
Breasts?
but a legend was born when she invited him to touch her up on national television. Yes, really.
I'm actually not going to do that. I think it would. My mum would kill me.
You public school boy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Number 11, checking, not going out.
You know, have a thingy and see if there's any what's-its or anything.
They're struggling with a tagline for the campaign.
In this episode of Not Going Out, Lee's having testicular trouble after Lucy advises him he ought to be checking down there regularly. If you watched only the finished episode, you may have marvelled at how Sally Breton was able to read that leaflet without breaking character, but the outtakes reveal that this scene wasn't plain sailing and may have been the hardest one she ever had to film in the series.
First, you need to have a bath, which will soften the scrotum. Then roll each testicle between... Sorry.
Eventually, she couldn't even pick up the leaflet without laughing, with Lee Mack just waiting for the inevitable in every single take. All this while trying to deliver some serious medical advice.
First...
You are so immature.
Number 10. Delicious Dick, Saturday Kitchen. Cooking shows are rife with opportunities for innuendo. Look no further than Nigella Lawson's storied career making risque comments about trifles and soufflés. But it wasn't James Martin's intention to say something lewd after watching an old clip of Rick Stein giving a roast pork recipe.
Delicious looking dick from... Sorry about that.
Rather than compliment Stein's dish, he said this, and the entire studio devolved.
Delicious looking dish from Rick there, pork, yeah. This week's masterclass is something that...
It's well known that the wine flows rather liberally on the Saturday Kitchen set, despite being filmed in the morning, so we're not surprised that a Freudian slip like that would get such a reaction. Even the crew lost it, though Martin tried to swiftly move on.
I do apologise for that. So what we're going to do now...
Number 9, Milkman. Good Morning Britain.
Can I just quickly do mine, first of all? There's
yes,
a reason why.
Sorry. It's not about you for a moment, it's about her.
Not a lot of people still have a milkman these days, which is a shame, because as we all know, they can offer you far more than just bottles of milk. At least that's according to Kate Garraway, during this pandemic-era broadcast of Good Morning Britain, where they were trying to spread some positivity while we were still locked down. She gave props to her devoted milkman, Mick.
Mick, my milkman, who has just been amazing. He's absolutely just kept me going because he'll leave little notes saying, do you need anything extra other than the milk? You know, like sort of...
Of course, everybody knows the implications the milkman carries, especially when he offers to bring plenty of little extras to your front door. It's amazing that Kate didn't see this coming.
I mean, like bread, butter, or orange juice that he also supplies.
The extra.
He needs a little smiley face.
I bet he does. And you still answering the door in your dressing gown and those fluffy slippers.
Number 8, gardening. Loose women.
He's mowing my lawn there, you see. I like November.
The thing is,
Look at that!
I've got a hedge that is really wild, so I'm Mr. Hedgeman.
In this item, they were debating whether it's better to have a proper front garden or pave over it, with some groups advocating for a return to natural gardens. But because this was the Loose Women panel, things immediately took a lewd turn when Colleen Nolan was asked about her own gardening regimen.
So what state's your front garden in, Colleen?
Nothing that a little trim wouldn't cure.
There are many more inappropriate moments from Loose Women, since that's the programme's bread and butter. In other incidents, they've talked about strapping men coming around to mow their lawns and trim their hedges.
So Jamelia's front garden's in perfect order and Colleen's needs a bit of a trim. I think we know who we are. What do you think? Stop it now.
But when you're tuning in to ITV in the middle of the day, you expect a group of leery women talking about being yanked.
Oh, so my flat's come down.
Number 7, altogether, passionately QI.
I mean, I'm happy to do it as long as I can go on top. I think you should speak to Josh.
As long as you've got a cushion, I'm fine with it.
For this tricky question, they were asked to reenact the famous opening scene of the classic film All Together Passionately, which none of them had heard of. Going by the name, though, some suggestions were made.
Is there an Italian phrase for the sound of music?
Apparently that's what they called it, All Together Passionately.
Oh, no.
That sounds like a film you wouldn't watch on a train.
It turns out that this was the Italian title of The Sound of Music, which leads to an anecdote from Sandy Toksvig about a time she met Julie Andrews.
Do you know, I was once lucky enough to meet Julie Andrews. It's the only time in my entire life I've been completely speechless.
Because she wouldn't shut up.
She just asking me what my favourite things were. It's very annoying.
Cue this even more ridiculous impression from Alan, in which he presents his imagined version of how that conversation with Julie Andrews went. Instantly, Sandy was crying, as was Susan Kalman on the other side of the studio.
Do you like them tied up with string? I bet you do, girl. I bet you do. What's a deer? What's a female deer? Come on, leave me alone.
Number 6. Eggy Pipe, Taskmaster.
It cracked in the tube, actually.
Did it?
Yeah.
In this extended outtake from Taskmaster's 10th series, it was Catherine Parkinson's attempt to get a raw egg into the frying pan in the middle of the derelict warehouse they were filming in. They all did badly, but at least Catherine was bad in a more entertaining way, though the clip of them reacting in the studio was significantly trimmed down.
Well, I guess it looked like...
Oh, sponge.
Yes.
Cool,
thanks.
a bit
Just sort of dribbling out.
It looked like spunk coming out of a big old...
Oh, lovely.
After watching the footage, everybody knew what it looked like, but nobody wanted to say it. Even Greg Davies, who couldn't keep it together. It took Alex Horne a minute to work it out, but when he did, the situation deteriorated even more.
Using an egg and some black piping, who can make the biggest spunky
Who can give us a
Congratulations, Catherine.
Thank you, yeah. I'd have won.
Number 5. Tiny Thing, The Graham Norton Show.
But we now do have to... Oh, no, you can go occasionally to an astronomically expensive restaurant where you can't really talk because they need to describe the tiny dish.
Britain's favourite Australian pop star Kylie Minogue was back on the red sofa to talk to Graham Norton, and things started off poorly when he forced everyone to listen to David Mitchell rant about how much he hates posh restaurants. Graham then asked Kylie this loaded question, stunning her to silence.
I don't want to speak for you, Kylie. I think you enjoy the long description of the tiny thing.
Excuse me?
What did you say?
Stephen Graham, next to her, couldn't believe his ears, though Norton feigned innocence. Unlike David Mitchell, Kylie and Stephen were both in favour of fine dining experiences with elaborate menus, even if the question was couched in filth.
As mentioned by David just now.
OK.
Yeah. Am I wrong?
Yeah. Yes.
You do like it?
Yes. Well, I like the description.
At least it was all more appropriate than the time he showed pictures of her waxwork, though. Number 4. Sausage in the hole, This Morning.
First of all, I'm not making toad in a hole. This is sausage in a hole. It's not a toad in a hole.
Gino D'Acampo is an innuendo machine, to such an extent that ITV itself tried to cancel him over it in early 2025. But before that, he regularly went viral for his quips on This Morning, notably this one, in which he put his own Italian spin on the classic British dish toad in the hole. To start, he refused to call it toad in the hole, which, to be fair, does sound unappetising if you're from a different country, calling it by a new name that he preferred.
And what makes the sausage bit Italian?
Is thicker, is tastier, and it's got fennel.
Except that this new name sounded far more inappropriate. For once, it seemed like Gino wasn't bringing innuendo into things on purpose, and that this was a genuine miscommunication. It still broke Holly Willoughby, though, obviously.
Does toad offend you?
No, but sausage in the hole sounds fantastic. You go home and the wife says, what do you... I want the sausage in the hole. That rock and roll. Let's do that.
Number 3, never seen a beaver. BBC Breakfast.
Building flood defences can be complex and expensive. We've talked about it in the past on the programme.
It was a wholesome morning on the BBC Breakfast sofa when John Kay, Naga Munchetti and Mike Bushell were chatting before the new headlines came in as John introduced a report about flood defences. As soon as he said the word beavers, you could tell that Naga was struggling to keep it together.
Beavers.
They're controversial with farmers who say that they damage fields.
And then, after the report, John revealed that he'd never actually seen a beaver. Naga was surprised that it was so rare to see one, and John swiftly tried to move on, with them both trying hard to keep it together while they read the news about climate change.
Do you remember that moment?
What moment?
When you saw your first one?
I've never seen one. That's why Roger was so excited.
They're rare.
Yes. Let's move on. It's 20 to 10. Let's stay with the environment.
Maybe one day you will see a beaver, John. Number 2, beavers again. The Great British Bake Off. Another beaver incident. This time, Prue Leith was the one responsible. While talking to a baker about her beaver-themed cake, Prue admitted that she was also woefully unprepared where the animals were concerned.
I'm not even sure I know what a beaver looks like, so...
Stop it. Quite sort of shapely. A boozy beaver, that's the best.
The jokes didn't stop when Nikki brought the beaver up to be judged at the end, with the entire tent now witnessing Prue as she stumbled.
So, Nikki, tell us about your beaver.
It was a miracle they managed to get through tasting the beaver at all, and apparently, after all that, it was too dry. A soggy bottom might be bad, but isn't a dry beaver far worse? You decide.
Her beaver looked amazing, but it was bone dry.
Yeah, I don't like dry beavers. Yeah.
Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos.
Number 1, willy wanging. This morning.
Have you ever hit anything that you've been throwing at?
Funnily enough, I've never willy-wanged since then.
Of course, it's another Holly Willoughby blunder at number 1. This time, she and Ben Shepherd were talking about the age-old British sport of welly wanging, where people lob a Wellington boot as far as they can. Holly, however, misspoke, despite being warned earlier by Ben of the exact dangers of doing an item about welly wanging in the first place.
I, however, haven't stopped.
This came during a segment where they were reminiscing about a past welly wanging attempt on This Morning, when Holly broke the studio's prized golden pineapple prop. Despite being a natural welly wanger, she never re-attempted it, and that's probably for the best.
Sam and Jack and I went welly wanging with Will, and Will was welly wanging.
Yeah, it's not easy to
and
say.
It's not easy. And I said, don't make that mistake, Holly.
Moving on.
Let us know in the comments what your favourite telly innuendos are.
Oh, so my flat's come down. Oh,